Okay, well, let me try to explain the status of the fetus in Judaism. In the earliest stages of pregnancy, up to 40 days post-conception, the fetus is considered mere fluid, as it said in Mishnah Nida 3:7. However, after 40 days, the fetus is considered formed and alive, and the woman who miscarries has to undergo the ritual cleansing process, the mikvah, just as she would have if a living child were born. So this clearly teaches that after the 40-day mark, the fetus is not worthless, but tantamount to a living creature. So how far are we required to go to save the life of a fetus? Well, in the Talmud, Araikan 7a, it indicates that it is permissible for one to desecrate Shabbos to save the life of an unborn child. Further, while a traditional Jew is forbidden from carrying a knife on Shabbos, a Jewish surgeon may do so and use it to save an unborn child's life. Even Rabbi Yosef Karo states a knife could be carried outside of an Eruv on Shabbos to save the life of a fetus when the mother is no longer alive. Please note, we can break Shabbos to save the life of an unborn child, and we're not allowed to break Shabbos to save the life of a heathen? Think about it. I can't reiterate it more. Human life is precious to God and should also be to us. So, when does life begin? We said earlier, 40 days after conception. You're probably wondering where most Jews get the idea that a fetus is worthless. Well, most Jews incorrectly interpret Exodus 21:23, which states, should a quarrel ensue between two men during which a pregnant woman is injured and miscarries, a judge shall determine the fine. Should the mother die, however, then the death penalty would be required. So this is interpreted by them to mean that the loss of fetal life did not cause anything but a financial compensation. Therefore, the fetus is not considered human and is thus disposable. Now, if you read the verse carefully, you will notice that the problem with this modern day interpretation is that the fetal death is occurring as a result of an accident, not an abortion. No choice was involved here. We Jews, as God's moral agents to humanity, have to be very careful what we sanction. Sometimes many religious Jews adopt liberal positions just to stand out from religious Christians. Well, my personal opinion is that not only should Jews not care to be numbered amongst Christians when doing good, but should also join forces with Christians in protesting outside abortion clinics. Jewish liberals claim because there is no direct commandment, thou shalt not abort thy child, that there is no prohibition to abortion in Jewish law. Well, this is because abortion never existed as a choice in the Jewish tradition or in the Jewish community of old. So they use long technical loopholes as a result to sin, and not only to sin, but to murder. There's not a rational thinking person out there that could possibly believe that the rabbis of old would have been on the pro-choice bandwagon, just as countless rabbis are today. Jews, wake up. It's ingrained in Jewish tradition, the worth of an unborn child. In many sections of the Torah and Haftorah, it indicates the connection between the unborn child and the adult, in the continuum in the life cycle that began prior to birth. Jeremiah 1:5 states, before you were born I sanctified you, I ordered you a prophet to the nations. You see, there's a preordained destiny that God intended for the prophet, crafted even before his birth. Also, the biblical accounts of Rivka's unusual pregnancy connects fetal life with future events. In Parshas Toldos, the following verses relate the struggle between Yaakov and Esav that began in the womb, foreshadowing their future rivalries and the conflicts between two nations. It states, the children were agitated within her, as she went to inquire of Hashem, and Hashem said to her, two nations are in your womb, two regimes from your insides shall be separated. The might shall pass from one regime to the other, and the elder shall serve the younger, as it says in Genesis 25. The Gemara even states that an angel teaches us all of Torah while we're in our mother's womb, and that a fetus can see from one side of the earth to the other. The Mishnah Holo 7:6, along with Rashi's commentaries on Sanhedrin 72, make it clear that the life and not the choice or the health of the mother is the only permissible reason for an abortion. Obviously, had abortion been performed in Rashi's time as a form of birth control, convenience, or economic reasons, there would have been such an outcry from the rabbis and a religious community that the practice would have been condemned. Jewish law also condemns abortions in cases of Down syndrome children. Most rabbis compare it to the Nazi T4 program, which systematically set out to kill all physically and mentally disabled persons. The Torah teaches that the true value of a person is in his soul. The great 20th century sage, the Chazon Ish, used to stand up in respect when a person with Down syndrome came into the room. He claimed that to have been given such limitations, the soul of this person must be very great, having come into this world to complete the process of perfection in this unique way. Well, I hope this video helps to clear up some misconceptions about Judaism and abortion. I remember that during Senator Joe Lieberman's run for the vice presidency a few years back, many Jews spoke out condoning his pro-choice stance. Now, Senator Joe Lieberman is an Orthodox religious Jew who really did a disservice to Jewry worldwide, as did John Kerry, claiming to be a Catholic and being pro the choice of women being allowed to murder their unborn babies. So, we shouldn't always take what is done or condoned by confused Jews seriously when we're determining what Jewish law teaches on the issue. Let me give you a few more sources. Sanhedrin 57b states, on the authority of Rabbi Yishmael was said a Noahide is put to death for the murder of a fetus. What's Rabbi Yishmael's reason? Because it is written, whoever sheds the blood of man within another man shall his blood be shed. What is a man within another man? We spoke about this before, a fetus in his mother's womb. Here it uses specifically the word murder when referring to abortion. Now, you might say that this means only non-Jews are guilty of murder, but we have a Jewish teaching that states, can there be an act which is permitted to a Jew and at the same time be prohibited to a non-Jew? This comes out in Chulin 33a. Jewish law also teaches that the fetus has a separate spiritual identity than the mother. Rabbi Yeheskel Landau requires that a mother intend to include the fetus in her conversion before the immersion, a requirement which suggests the independent spiritual status of the fetus. In Bava Basra 141 and Yevamos 67, there's a machlokas if the fetus has property rights. Even the Zohar in Shemot 3b states, there are three persons who drive away the Shekhinah from the world, making it impossible for the Holy One, blessed be He, to fix His abode in the universe and causing prayer to be unanswered. The third is he or she who causes the fetus to be destroyed in the womb, for he destroys the edifice of the Holy One, blessed be He, and His workmanship. For these abominations the Spirit of holiness weeps. Did you know that there are 50,000 abortions committed every year in Israel? That's roughly 1,000 abortions a week. Women in the IDF are also given 2 free taxpayer-paid abortions yearly. Now this is happening in God's holy land. My friends, modern-day pro-choice rants have no place in Judaism. The message of the Torah is one of life. Abortion on demand is simply intolerable in Jewish law. To sanction something so heinous as partial birth abortion is proof of a culture of death, standing in marked opposition to Torah's ethic of life. God created mankind to be fruitful and multiply, and to protect and nurture life, both born and unborn. So, rather than work against these Torah moral principles, as these wayward rabbis have done, it is incumbent on us to ally ourselves with Christians in upholding the moral principles we have in common. Together, we could possibly limit or even stop immoral abortions from taking place. From Rabbi Asher Meza, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you.